right? Because we shuffled over like 50,000 steel. I ended up like getting like 70,000 or something wood here. We've got like thousands of peels of like leather and stuff, like in the 15,000s and stuff. We've just got like a shit ton of meat because it just culled a bunch of our animals. And then we've got a cap on the simple meals and the packaged survival meals. So they can only ever make, I think they can make 10,000 survival meals and 4,000 simple meals. And I think we have a cap of 2,000 on the pemmican and about 4,000, I think, on the kibble. But that's getting eaten pretty quickly and stuff. We've also got a bit of chocolate growing, which I've got to keep aware of that because last time, you know how I mentioned that we had, where am I? You know how I mentioned that we had this colony here and it glitched and we left without food? I had 200,000 fucking chocolate and that's what we left with because it's the only thing where people didn't unload. So I don't want to accidentally fuck that up again. I've only got like a tiny chocolate grove down here. Right, a little tiny grove. So we're not doing that again. I'm aware of that. But I also have to practice with hydroponics here because we're going to keep getting up into colder and colder area. Like this is going to be one of the first winters in over probably a year or two that this should all die off. And then like we won't have winter crops. So whatever we have now in the way of food, my people are going to have to use to feed the animals. So we've only got like 3,000 spare rice. That's not really sufficient. So a lot of the animals are probably going to miscarriage across winter. Unfortunately, it will kind of keep the numbers down, but I do have a now much more balanced, primarily large group of adult females, a smaller group of adult males, a capped smaller number of like juvenile males, which means that as they get born, they should get culled until like allowing one to come up into adulthood to potentially replace one if it dies, right? And then once all of these are capped out at their proper amounts, I'll start bringing the female young down a little bit too. Because at the moment, this is a mess because we just moved in and I couldn't risk them culling off, once I can get down to it, this section of panthers. I did not want them to accidentally cull off most of the ones that I'm training at the moment. So, yeah. Ideally, the same with the boomalopes. We moved in with like so many. So, yeah, I've got the panthers, I've got the thrumbos. They are my attack animals. And I have like several animals that are my originals and stuff. Hold on. I only just started with boomalopes in the last location, like right as we were moving and stuff. So I'm only just like getting used to them too. But like Xena, our cat, she's an original. So I'm trying to keep her alive. We accidentally had her partner, I think, die of a heart attack in transit in the starvation caravan. And I think they ate him. So there's nothing I can do about that. I have like a few thrumbos here that are already bonded. So I don't want to keep more like males that are not bonded and stuff like that because my people get attached to them really easy. Same with the panthers. Like Amanda has just been bonded. She's not even trained. She's just joined. So yeah, this is going to keep getting bigger. And the problem with that is when we go to fight, it's great that they'll come and fight with us. But if one of them dies, the owner will go fucking psychotic. And I have to be careful of that. I do think we should theoretically get attacked later because I haven't been attacked for 2 weeks and it's getting suspicious. Although, like, we did also take extra people and I don't think Phoebe Jax is very happy with that. But it's fine, she can deal. So that could be really cool, like wiping out hostile factions and stuff. Well, that's the idea because apparently if you wipe out all the hostile factions, you still get raided and shit, allegedly. But, you know, we'll see. Am I breeding the thrumbos? I mean, I have thrumbos, and they do happen to reproduce and shit. So, I mean, I'm not purposely doing it. It just have, like, they're a good attack animal, and they do hauling, and you can technically ride them and stuff. But, yeah, I don't have any adult females that aren't bonded at the moment and stuff. So, I mean, the other thing too is if they have a boy and he gets a little bit of training, he'll be worth some really good money, because the idea is if you have a shit ton of female adult animals, if you have 50, each one is dropping a calf or whatever, right? That's immediately 50, ish animals that's going into meat, and like a few that's going to reach adulthood and then get culled at the maximum amount of meat and leather and stuff like that. But then it's only every a couple of times a season, or every season at least. So it keeps the meat production up, which is good for the panthers, which we are trying to keep a balance of, because we now have a lot of panthers again. We lost a lot at Dryden. A lot died to save our people. So I don't want to do that again. Although I will still sacrifice the animals again for my people, because we can always eat them and my people don't do cannibalism. So there is that. But preferably not bonded ones, as I increase the base wealth so much, the raids get too much. I mean, I am actively adding gold and silver flooring, and that's a marble table, but these are silver. They're silver poker tables. These should be silver billiards tables. There's gold on the floor. There's jade. There's silver flooring. There's I'm trying to give them a bit of wealth here. Where the fuck's my thing? We had the dip when we moved, but where is this thing? How many? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on. 4, 5, 6. What is that? 2 million? Almost 2.5 million wealth? Yeah, it's fine. It's not as high as it was before, and that was okay. The worst we really got was the mech raid of 40 or 50 mechs with the infernal cannons, and we had hay grass on the ground and crops, and they set fire to the crops and the hay grass in a really tight area and basically roasted our prisoners. And I save and I reload and I try to do it again. So basically, if a battle breaks out, I will save, because there's different outcomes depending on who gets attacked and who dies and stuff like that. For instance, let's just say for a second that they want to kill Chet, right? The game wants to kill Chet. I have a choice between Chet, or alternatively, if I reload and we play again, we get Ray, Takuma, Rourke, and Joshua all die. Is Chet more valuable than 4 colonists? I get that kind of scenario pretty often. So I kind of have to make decisions between that, where if it's an original colonist, no amount of other colonists, unless they're one of the originals, matter. They can die. Preferably, I have a few in here I really do care about. Obviously, I know a lot of them, but there's a few people that are named after well, they're not named after, they are just the same name as people in my community, because I don't rename anyone. But having a look around for somebody. We got Kit Kat for Kit Kat Keelon. I know I've got Grim in here. I've got Trian for Triantha. I've got Bombay for Eternal Dipsy. That's a name and game character. I'm in here too. What's up, Phoenix? What are you doing? Did you see the spider? Did you see the spider? Because you were hiding earlier. Oh no. That was my cat coming to check on me. There was a spider incident right at the start of the stream. The fuck else? Yeah, I've got a lot of people in here that are people in my community. Shadow's out in the caravan at the moment. He's one of my mods. I don't know if you guys are moving. That's right, it's nighttime. It's fine. But yeah, depending on who it is and how many they want to kill, I'll normally roll the dice and go again kind of thing. I know they just call it re-rolling, just to kind of re-roll the outcome, essentially. Also, thank you for the follow before fight and the follow now ambush. I should probably start getting everybody a weapon if they don't have one yet, because I kind of get the feeling we're going to have a fight later. So I'm going to be skipping around the screen for a hot minute while I try to find people and give them weapons, because I know that a few people since they arrived here have been upset, and therefore they've been in fistfights, and they may have dropped their weapon. And I'm also still getting used to my layout because we've only just recently really moved in. But yeah, the whole planet's population might be in this area. I keep getting that. It's like basically like I've had people come in and be like, you go from like a nation or a city to a nation and stuff like that, and I'm like, I mean, it's been kind of at times gradual. Sometimes I take like 28 prisoners and it's not gradual. And it's like, okay, like before with Orange, I'm like, who the fuck is Orange? Like, I would have taken him when I took somebody else that was more important to me. And yeah, as a result of it, I don't remember who he is, because if somebody gets downed, like if I'm in a battle and I down like a couple of people I really want, and then there's a couple of other people that also happen to go down, but they weren't super loyal and I could use them, I will take them. I'm not against it, you know? So yeah, I'll only take like extra people and stuff, because like even like people that can't do like any of the other sort of tasks or skilled labor and stuff like that, they can still clean and haul and stuff. Like I've got 3 people constantly in my colonists, in my colony. I'm still trying to get them something to do. So they basically they can do everything. If something is available and they can do it, they can do it. But the problem is I don't have all my benches installed. Everybody doesn't have all their equipment. So somebody might be a hunter and they don't have a weapon or whatever, you know. Like Jackal. You're the other Jackal. Sorry, my first Jackal died. I've got like 2 Jackals, I think 3 snakes, and a few other people. I've got like 2 chimpanzees, 2 loomies. It gets a little bit confusing when I'm skittling around the colony looking for something to like do for them, and then bam, I've picked the wrong person. I've done that so many times when I'm like mid-conversation and I'm like, this person can do blah, and then I like look at them and it's the wrong person, and I'm like, terrible. But not this Jackal. Yeah, not you either, you know. There'll be a few people in here that are pacifists too. I also want to get a couple of people to not have these anymore, ideally, but we'll see. The only thing my colonists aren't allowed to do is they can't do cannibalism, and they can't have drugs. That's it. That's the 2 things. And since like drugs can be recreational stuff too, oh man, do they get pissy. That's why we have chocolate, but chocolate's not working that well at this time. And I've only just got this little rec room installed. Like the old rec room was bigger, so I made everything here a bit smaller to be a little more efficient, and that's great. But yeah, there's a few things like spare. Like I've got all these chess tables and bookshelves and poker tables and crap spare because I can't fit it and stuff. So in an attempt to be more efficient, I've kind of pushed out some of my good shit, unfortunately. If you release them into wild, have them repopulate the endangered species. The thing is, whenever like the wild thrombos come to visit, I automatically go hunt them because I don't want them. None of my people are really on like a 1920 to be able to actually, you know, get them in at the moment. And I never get a like like a taming frenzy or whatever it is at the same time as I've got wild thrombos around, and it's never on a person that could actually like do the thing. So yeah, I normally we go hunt the pack. Like we had wild thrombos a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, it's fine. So at the moment I'm trying to get everybody to have a weapon, because I get this kind of inkling that at some point we're going to get attacked. And because everybody's come in and been cranky and got slapped around, generally speaking, if you do a tantrum of some sort in my colony, not like just a standard tantrum, but if you decide that you're going to go and like, I don't know, slaughter somebody or release prisoners or something, I will slap you upside the head and put you in hospital. or jail, depending on how that goes. But yeah, because of that, there's a lot of people that are missing weapons at the moment. So I should, theoretically, have sufficient enough to be able to get everybody a weapon. But I know I sold some shit ones the other day because we had a, what do you call them? Yeah, the military traders that come by. Yeah, we had one of those, and I was like, okay, well, I'll sell off some of the really crap stuff. Like, I've still got like a poor gun here and a poor little knife. There's a poor knife over there. There's a couple of bicodeds in here as well. I'm slowly whittling it out. I had to just put shit elsewhere so that my people could just find what I had in here, you know? I didn't get to see who I was up to then, but okay. We'll see maybe who comes for that. And maybe people can't even have them cleaning. Oh no, they're cleaning. It's just that I have animals allowed to go everywhere now because I need animals to be hauling more than anything. I do have like extra money. I could be buying these while I'm out here, but I'm trying not to be greedy. I'm trying to just get the components, as many as I can afford, and bring them to the quest and then bring them home because I know I want the other shit. So we'll go down to this one. Fuck it. Let's go trade with them, and then we'll go over to them, and we'll hand the quest in, and then we'll hit these two on the way home. And if this 3 happens to have a psychic soothe pulsar, I will grab it. What do we get? A masterwork chair. Neat. All right. Who roughly was I up to? Who was coming for this gun? There'd be a faster way to go find them. Let's see, Peters. You've got a gun. Hang on. You don't. Okay. I kind of skipped the queue, so not everybody's going to have a gun, but we're kind of close enough there. That should be a good mod to make them equip weapon after they lost it somehow. There is a mod for that. One of my best mates plays RimWorld, and every time like my colonists do something and they don't automatically do something after it, he's like, you know, there's a mod for that. And I'm like, yes, I do. You've told me. But yeah, no, there is a mod that's like auto-equip weapon after you've been downed and stuff like that. Like basically it'd be one of the first things that they do after they recover and stuff. But again, like the mods that I started with nearly 2.5 years ago of what I'm playing through with, because it's a closed mods playthrough, like if mods don't get updated between the versions or if they break, I can't change them, I can't update them and stuff. So that makes it a little bit difficult because like I said, there was a mods list that I put up earlier that I've only got like, what, 6, but 2 of them are like HugsLib and Harmony, which are the mods that make the mods work, and Wild Reproduction doesn't work. So it's more like I've got like 3 mods realistically. So yeah, I don't have much there, but it's fine. I'm kind of curious to see how well it goes all the way through to the end anyway, because like the other thing too is every single one of these colonists, like I always mentioned this, you guys got to remember, like I got plant sway on, I've got like thousands and nearly thousands of animals and hundreds of colonists. All of them have got like a history as well. All of them have like this social history where they each know like about 300 people over like a lifetime and shit. So there's that. And yeah, there's also other colonists out in the world that have relations to these colonists, alive or dead and stuff. And yeah, it's all over the shop. Also, there is a rocket launcher in here, and that thing better be bicoded as fuck because they're not allowed that. There's also a few weapons I don't trust my people with. Grenades are one of them. Anything that can set shit on fire quickly is another. And anything that can blow them up in a pissy, like, hissy fit sort of thing, also not allowed. Let's see who else we got in here. Usually by vanilla too. They add Zoom +1. Add to music from Firefly. Oh yeah. yeah, it's kind of rare sometimes to come across like another person that plays just vanilla and stuff. Even with like, I do count like if you're only playing like vanilla with like a couple of mods, and it's nothing like the vanilla, what do you call it, the vanilla overhaul or whatever mod, or whatever it is, vanilla expanded, I think it is. That one's one where people come in and like, oh, you're just playing with vanilla expanded. I'm like, no, I'm just playing vanilla. And they're like, oh, leave. I'm like, mate, you know, don't be like that. Like a lot of people kind of like get, they get RimWorld and they basically just like take the ground running. You know, they add like a heap of like mods or DLCs and stuff because the game's been out for quite a while, and it is just normal, especially if like they know somebody that's been playing and stuff. Like when I started playing, my mate that's been playing for like donkey's years before me, he's like, you're gonna want to add this and this. It makes it like bearable, or it's like unbearable to play and stuff. And I'm like, look, I'm just gonna give it a crack as it is and see what the game's like and see what like how I feel about what I want to change and stuff. And honestly, I never really found like anything much I really wanted to change. The deep storage or whatever, that is useful for completely not just destroying everything. Because I used to have my very first game, my coalition colony, they had just storage on the floor because I didn't use shelves until the last location, Dryden. And that was just massive sweeping rooms of just floor storage because it was all piled up in like the natural like couple of stacks and stuff, you know. Whereas here, like they do stack to like 10,000, but I don't often like reach that. And the worst case scenario is somebody comes over and kicks the pile, you know. I do want you to do like some doctoring, mate. I don't want you to be like the primary guy because you're like a skill of 1. But I kind of don't like the fact that that's a crunchy one. But what have you got? You got hunting and you got handling. Alternatively, you got cooking and construction, which honestly, I'll make them both that. And you can do plant. Oh, you can do mining. We always have like a shit ton of mining, and I have a lot of miners, so I don't really want you on that, mate. Let's get you a gun right out the bat. I think that's bi-coded. Yeah, that one's bi-coded. How about that? You get yourself a bolt-action rifle. Alright, let me save that too, because it's been a little while. Also think about, I run about 30-odd mods, but as you said, it includes harmony and other things to make mods work. Yeah, I know some people use like 400 plus, and I can't fathom it. So it takes them like 10 plus minutes just to load in. So my mate had like 300 plus, and he'd take about half an hour to load in. He'd start the computer, open up RimWorld, or sometimes just leave RimWorld open. That's really common if you have a fuck ton of mods. It's a very good way to like not slow yourself down. And then it would take like 30 minutes for him to get into RimWorld and stuff to load in. But like, I think I've come across, on average, most people have between probably around about 200 to 300 mods on average. Some people obviously have more. Some people kind of like skim around like 100 odd, but it's a very high mid, like 2 to 3, you know. I'll start back from Mo as well. Also, saving occasionally will stop me having to go back and figuring out who does and doesn't have a weapon. Because, yeah, I lost place earlier when I did that trade and shit. So yeah, I got a buddy who runs RimWorld almost 24/7. I know somebody that also, I believe, they never actually exit out of RimWorld. Because I always see them like active, and I'm like, I know you sleep. I know that you sleep sometime. You know, I just don't know when he sleeps, because like it never actually shows him as offline. And I'm like, it's a very good way to keep people like second guessing your sleep schedule because I have no clue. But yeah, no, I like if something happens with my game, you will actively like see me say, hey guys, I'm just gonna like quit out and jump back in. It's only gonna take like a minute, and it takes a minute. You watch it in real time. I never cut it from my VODs either when they go to YouTube and stuff. And I know some people don't like that, but I'm like, I haven't cut the time, and I've been talking the whole time. This is how long my game of 300 plus colonists and a few fucking hundred to 1,000 fucking animals takes on core game. The game itself is not bad. The game itself can handle so much, right? Because you've also got to remember, I've got thousands of fucking items in my list, and I've got plants, and I've got animals scurrying around, and I've got people, and people got history and all sorts of shit and stuff. And it's like, you know, I remember like the first few like incidents I had where people like, oh, once it gets to like X number year, your game will slow right down. We're up to like in game the 18th year and stuff, and we've moved to like 4 different locations, and we've been on 1.3, 4, 5, and now 6. So we've been on 4 different versions of RimWorld, and like I really don't want to, like, ideally I don't really want to like have them be on a tile that goes through like a massive fucking DLC update again, because that shit's scary. Because like if it breaks I have to move generally to fix it, because the rest of the tiles on the map all work just fine. It's just the tile that you're on, the game kind of like saves that as being corrupt. The rest of the world doesn't seem to get corrupt, but you do have to move more than 2 tiles away, which is still inefficient. And at that point, like if I'm gonna move, I'm gonna make the next leap kind of thing, or at least make a half jump kind of thing, to try to like, you know, keep propelling and stuff, like we did with the second location to the third when it crapped itself, you know. But yeah, every version update, if you're still on the previous tile, like this is a 1.6 tile, I was ready to move my colony, and then I had to delay it by about a month because RimWorld announced that they were going to update, and I'm like, well shit, if I move and I settle on a 1.5 tile, I'll be on a 1.5 tile and a 1.6 game going forwards, and I know that fucks with the game and eventually has like corruption and issues and shit. So I had to wait until the game updated, and then we had to pick a 1.6 tile to move to so that we don't have issues and stuff. And then we spent like 5 months moving, because it took 5 months to move the colony in amongst like attacks and all sorts of other stuff. So yeah, it took a while, you know. It's 1.5 and 1.6 destroyed my saves. Buying and being gifted DLCs mid-playthrough wasn't ideal. I had wondered about that. The only good thing with me is like I don't want the DLCs. I think if somebody tried to gift them to me, I would hit reject, because I don't want it to fuck with my game that much. Like that's how much I don't want it to fuck with my game. Because I do regularly get like people being like, do you want the DLCs, like, you know, one way or another kind of thing. And I'm like, no, I do not. I'm doing a thing. It's probably going to take me a few more years to finish doing this thing. But, you know, it's going to be a hell of a thing by the time I'm finished. Anyway, I had a great colony that was just given a fixed ideology. That was us and kind of ruined it. Oh, yeah. I was trying to remember what they updated with this one. Oh, that's right. The animals flying was a big concern for me when they updated, because I have so many. At the time, I had like 90, 80, 90 ducks and 80, 90 chickens at the time. And yeah, that would have... I was concerned that they weren't going to stay in pens and stuff like that. I'm like, look, if they're going to be a pain in the ass, I'm just going to cull them and move forwards, like not have like egg-laying creatures and stuff like that. Like, you know, there was a lot of people